Witam, surowe AlterMMO. Dzisiaj mam nadzieję, że przyjemniej sobie spędzimy czas przy oglądaniu filmików z Diablo, ale nie o pay to win, bo pojawiły się jakieś takie różne wstępy fabularne na oficjalnym kanale Diablo. I ja powiem wam, nic z tych rzeczy nie oglądałem, więc mam nadzieję, że teraz troszkę nadrobię. Może tylko jeszcze wcześniej załączę światło, bo chyba za ciemna ta kamerka troszkę. Dobra, lecimy. To chyba była kompilacja wszystkich poprzednich, nie? Odsłon te filmiki.
The story in Diablo 4 will appeal to both new players and hardcore Diablo fans. And when writing this next chapter, we really wanted to return to our darker roots.
Sanctuary is in a very interesting state right now. It's 50 years after Reaper of Souls from Diablo 3, where half of the population was exterminated by an archangel. The world has seen quite a bit of changes, quite a bit of scarring from its wounds that have not totally.
Szczerze, myszka wziąłem chyba ten, ale szczerze wyobraźcie sobie, że żyjecie w takim świecie Diablo. Jesteś kurde zwykłym wieśniakiem i załóżmy, że nie masz w ogóle żadnych mocy, nie jesteś jednym z tych bohaterów. No generalnie to przedupcone, demony jakieś, agresywne wilki, archanioł cię zmiecie z planszy, tutaj cię jakaś Lilith opęta. Człowieku, to jest życie tragedia.
Healed.
In these years of death and decimation, power vacuums have opened up and been filled by various factions you'll actually get to interact with in Diablo 4. Heroes of the past that we've known and loved have long since faded into memory, as well as an iconic order known as the Haradrim.
The world is a bit broken and wounded, and it's in this fragile state that Inarius and Lilith return, and they are the makers of Sanctuary, and their return may not...
Jak w Polsce. Że zawsze jak mówię o jakichś tragicznych warunkach, to Polskę mam z tyłu głowy, ale nigdy tego nie mówię, bo może w sumie nie każdy ma tak źle. Cześć, Thor.
mean the best for humanity.
Before Sanctuary was created, the heavens and the hells were battling each other in a non-stop war. Our Sanctuary was created by disenfranchised rebel angels and demons that wanted out. They didn't want to be a part of this never-ending war because there was literally no point. Two of those people were Inarius and Lilith.
Lilith is a demon and Inarius is an angel. They were part of the eternal conflict between heaven and hell, in which they were constantly fighting with each other.
When Lilith captured Inarius, she was ready to
A jakby można zrobić w Diablo 4, skoro to już jest takie MMORPG-owe, dwie frakcje, demony i anioły, czy tam archanioły. I masz, chłopie, część kolejną World of Warcraft i PvP normalnie między dwoma frakcjami. To by było życie. Nie, Szymon, nie będzie, ale witam.
torture him, but when she learned that they're of like mind, she became his partner in crime. They stole a singular, most important object known as the World Stone, a massive, iconic, mountain-sized gem that has the ability of creation.
Inarius and Lilith helped to create the world of Sanctuary.
And that's where the name of the world comes from. It was their sanctuary to hide away from the eternal conflict.
They both have similar goals, but as an angel and as a demon, have different ways of going about it.
Inevitably, it wasn't going to last. They've clashed multiple times throughout the history of the Diablo universe, and the last time they met, Inarius banished Lilith from the world and locked her in this realm of darkness.
We wouldn't see Lilith again until the cinematic.
Nie wiem jak wy, ale szczerze, ja wolę słuchać, jak mówią po angielsku, niż czytać te tłumaczenia, bo te tłumaczenia to są takie, kurcze...
By 3 they come, when a mysterious figure pulled her back into Sanctuary and set her loose on the world she helped create.
Inarius also suffered when the heavens found out where he was and what he had done, that he had created this world. He was punished and handed over to the burning hells as a peace offering.
Because of these two experiences, both Lilith and Inarius do share that they were betrayed and they've been disillusioned. That does not mean that they get along.
There's this rare moment in time where Inarius and Lilith are back on the world.
It is them fighting each other with humanity as their battleground.
O, przedupcone właśnie. Ścierają ci się na świecie demony i archanioły i ty, kurde, zwykły człowiek jesteś w środku tego. Oj, nie chciałbym być w takim świecie. Nie chciałbym żyć. Czy dziś wampiry? Tak.
When the story of Diablo 4 begins, this wanderer is trudging through the snowstorm in a place called the Fractured Peaks. Really, they're just looking for some shelter.
The player character in Diablo 4 is whoever the player wants to be. Are they running from something? Are they running to something? What kind of a person are they? We leave that up to them to decide.
A, rozumiem, czyli to jakby właściwie mało co wiadomo o tym uchodźcy, dzięki temu każdy z nas może sobie wybrać tło fabularne naszego
They
bohatera.
are seeking refuge
Myślę, że o 17:45 będę gotowy, Witek.
from this blistering cold that saturates everything within the Fractured Peaks. They find a cave, and it is that moment where they're pulled into the bigger events of Sanctuary, these monumental moments that will be taking place that will shape and shake the world. It has been 50 years since Malthael, the aspect of death, culled about 50% of humanity. Humans struggle to survive in that 50-year gap after that massive culling. The humanity itself is trapped between the high heavens and the burning hells, and each are trying to influence humanity in their own way. The player's asked to save Sanctuary by a specific character that we actually remember from Reaper of Souls. His name is Lorath Nar.
Lorath in Diablo 4 is not the same Lorath from Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. He's a changed man. He was a member of the Herodrim. And the Herodrim is this secretive order of scholars and mages who protect the world from demons and other supernatural threats.
Lorath is much older and weathered from the things that he's seen. He is struggling with who he is with the Herodrim and even without the Herodrim.
When Lorath learns of the player's interactions with a being that he remembers
Swoją drogą, patrzcie, gdzie ich zaprosili, jak oni o tym opowiadają. Jakieś kurde świece, całe studio przygotowali pod to,
very well,
jasny
he
gwint.
pulls him into this mission to stop Lilith.
They will need to try to figure out a way to survive in the world of Sanctuary in all of its turmoil since Lilith has come back. We have a lot of new characters that you'll be experiencing in the world of Sanctuary. One of them is Prava. She leads the Cathedral of Light. The Cathedral of Light is a militaristic faction led by Anarius. Anarius is the ultimate supreme leader, but she handles the day-to-day.
She acts as a bridge between Inarius and the other followers.
Znaczy, wiesz co, Badys? Tak, ale to, co mi się tutaj spodobało, taki szczegół mi się podobał, że jest na przykład mówienie takich statystyk. W sensie powiedzieli, że ten poprzedni, nie wiem, czy to był demon, czy anioł, nieważne, z Reaper of Souls, dokonał uboju 50% ludzkości. To tak fajnie wpływa na wyobraźnię. To taki smaczek, nie? Ale szczerze mówiąc, no to jest takie, kurde, fajnie brzmi, że 50% ludzkości zostało wybite.
Followers of the Cathedral of Light.
She was at rock bottom when Anarius met her. As you can imagine, on Sanctuary, life is brutal. Anarius uplifted her and taught her the tenets of the Cathedral of Light.
Ever since then, she's become his most loyal, fervent follower. She would do anything for him, and she just really believes in what he stands for.
Anarius is in various states of bitterness. You're seeing a faction that has done as much good as necessarily bad. You as a player get to decide how you feel about those actions, and Prava will be at the forefront.
No właśnie, co ty myślisz o tych działaniach? Ja przyznam szczerze, że to jakby w ogóle się nie znam na tym tle fabularnym, ale tutaj te anioły to nie są anioły, które były nam przekazywane, wiecie, na katechezie, kurde. I masz wrażenie, że wcale tutaj, mimo że masz taki niby w określeniu jasny podział na dobro i zło, bo anioły i demony, to w praktyce dla mnie wcale te anioły tak pobieżnie, wcale te anioły dla mnie nie są jakimś, nie wiem, wyjątkowo dobrą frakcją.
Front of all of it.
Donan, he's one of the Herodrim. He is this very gifted mage who also is a scholar. We find him in this place called Scotland, where he's made a name for himself and become something of a hero. In Diablo 4, we'll find out what Donan's relationship with Lorath is and the Herodrim and how he became a hero in this place. Neyrelle is this young adventurer. She has traveled the world with her mother looking for lost artifacts. She's spent her life going through old ruins and reading old texts and learning these arcane things. Together, they're searching for the remnants of the Herodrum. They believe in finding that, they'll find some purpose.
She is someone who is very intent on stopping Lilith, so she becomes a very strong ally for you and for Lorath throughout the game.
It's through her actions that Lorath and the group that you will follow will come to contend against Lilith.
Something that we tried to do from a narrative perspective is create people that are living in a very dark place, but still trying their best to live.
They'll have some scars, but they also have these pieces of beauty and humanity. We wanted to ground them in the circumstances of the world and make them feel real and relatable.
With Diablo 4, you're very much watching a tragedy unfold. It's definitely a story that we wanted to create around people, not just the apocalyptic elements that surround the story.
Właśnie, i tu o to chodzi, nie? Że ci ludzie no mają po prostu przesrane i tak jakby tutaj nikt ich nie uratuje. Nawet jak nie wiem, katedra światła zwycięży przeciwko tym demonom, to i tak wszystko się rozgrywa na ziemi, gdzie ci ludzie po prostu giną. Dlatego to jest takie, no tutaj same szarości są.
And that's something that we really sought to bring to you as a part of the Diablo narrative.
Lilith is free, she has some followers, and she's back on her old business. She's gonna corrupt us or try to turn us to her side for her own ends.
The story of Lilith and Inarius is the darkest
Jak w
story
życiu,
we've
tak,
ever
tak.
told, and it expands the mythos of Sanctuary and the lore of the series like never before.
Okej. I tam jest kolejna książka, nie? Book of Lorath, epizod 1. To lecimy od razu. 8 minut to trwa.
To be disappointed, young scholar. Life has
Czekajcie, może od początku.
You've traveled a long way to be disappointed, young scholar. Life has taught me well that evil is inevitable and can never be truly destroyed. It can be banished, it can be thwarted, it can be driven back.
Dojebany narrator. No, mój stary jak w poniedziałek wraca po weekendzie, nagrywał. Dzięki, Nekros przekaże.
But only for a time. Men are weak. Evil is seductive. And those who would do nothing in the face of malevolence are cowards. You seek a weapon against the darkness rising in Sanctuary. The only thing I can arm you with is knowledge. So when evil finds a foothold and flourishes once again, at least I can say it was not due to ignorance. For untold eons, an eternal conflict has raged between the demonic hordes of the burning hells and the angelic host of the high heavens. Scholars have spilled gallons of ink and spent their eyesight in dim scriptoriums, writing and debating how these two factions began, and what came before them, before us. It is said the first being, Anu, was the sum of all things, good and evil, light and dark, physical and mystical, joy and sadness, the one. Anu wished to be free from the malignance of evil.
Kurde, szczerze, jak gościu gada, to aż w środku coś wibruje, tak nisko gada. Naprawdę, ma tak niski głos. Myślicie, że jeszcze było coś podkręcane? Oprócz tego, czy on ma taki głos naturalnie? Porypane to jest.
And so separated and expelled the darkness within. But what is cast off does not simply disappear. And that darkness found its shape in the seven-headed dragon, Tathamet, the prime evil, who fought ceaselessly with Anu to their mutual destruction.
A Tamet, on był na przykład w jakimś Diablo 1, Diablo 2? Jest jakiś znawca?
It is said, when the remains of these two titans settled, the universe as we know it came into existence. All the realms of the high heavens, the burning hells, and pandemonium. Tathamet's blackened husk gave birth to the burning hells, and each of the seven heads transformed into the seven great evils, each with dominion over their own realm.
O,
The three most dominant of these inherited the title of prime evil, feeding off one another to maintain dominion and rule over the legions of the burning hells. There was Mephisto, Lord of Hatred,
Okej.
intelligent and cunning, father of Lucian and Lilith, the mother of Sanctuary. Baal, lord of destruction, corrupter of the world stone. And Diablo, lord of terror. As Deckard Cain once wrote, for as long as man fears the dark, Diablo will remain the most insidious and, I would argue, the most powerful of all the evils. The four lesser evils, no less dangerous to the people of Sanctuary, are not to be discounted on the basis of their title, underestimating their capabilities.
Ale to chyba pierwsze takie wykonane w stylu Blizzarda. Mieli takie filmiki na temat jakiejś innej gry, Bades? Bo szczerze mówiąc, nie no, rysowane były z WoWa, nie? Ale to był inny styl niż to, co tutaj. Bo z WoWa też było, bo mi się przypomniało, że mieli takie animowane też. Ale to było troszkę, no wiadomo, że styl się różni. Czyli sumarycznie, no po prostu jak im się chce, to potrafią.
And intentions is a sure path to our destruction. Belial, lord of lies, uses poisonous untruths to create an ever darker, fractious world. Juriel, lord of pain, revels in the cacophonous screams of those in physical agony. Even demons are no stranger to his torment. Andariel, the maiden of anguish, is the counterpart of Juriel. Whereas he delights in bodily torment, Andariel derives pleasure from anguish of the mind and soul. Asmodan, the lord of sin, a
Ja to
clever
tak pobieżnie kojarzę, chyba z większością z nich się już walczyło, nie?
manipulator and master of temptation, loves vice in all its forms, but revels most in the failures of others. Demonic hordes spawned from the vile cavities of the burning hells, a host of ravenous, furious monstrosities that reflected the poisonous elements of their progenitor. There are demons beyond counting in the burning hells. At the center of the high heavens lies the crystal arch, said to be formed of Anu's spine. When it vibrates in perfect harmony, an angel is created, embodying an aspect of what Anu had once been. The purest of these become archangels, and 5 rose above the rest to lead the host of the high heavens. Imperius, archangel of valor, a brilliant tactician who commanded the warriors of heaven and led them into battle with hell, but whose pride has led to much destruction. Tyrael, former archangel of justice, who abandoned his rigid dedication to justice and took up the aspect of wisdom instead. He supported the many causes of humanity, renounced his angelic nature, and fell to earth as a mortal. Sanctuary would have fallen to darkness long ago without his aid. Inarius, creator of Sanctuary, served under Tyrael and was an advisor to the council until he rebelled. Oriel, the archangel of hope, who embodies the shining light of a bright future,
Fajne to
and sees
jest,
the
kurde,
potential
powiem
for
wam.
good in all
Aż się nie chcę
things,
komentować.
but who is no less a warrior than the others, dispatching those who spread despair and darkness. She is said to lead the chorus of the high heavens in harmony. Ethereal, the archangel of fate, who comprehends the tangled web of fate and time, though the future of humanity remains obscure to him, unseeable, because we are not of the natural order of creation. Malthael, the former archangel of wisdom, who fell to darkness and brought ruin to Sanctuary when he abandoned the aspect of wisdom and took up the aspect of death. I encountered him once, long ago, and barely escaped with my life.
Okej, czyli Maltael,
Few who met
szara
him after his
postać.
transformation survived. After all, no one can stop death. These 5 archangels formed the Angiras Council and ruled heaven in harmony until Malthael abandoned heaven. The council fell to confusion and dissension. Their unity diminished. Alongside heaven and hell, there is a third realm, and this is where our next story begins and ends. Where Anu and Tathamet slew one another, the violence scarred the cosmos and birthed the plane of pandemonium. It was here the World Stone, also called the Eye of Anu, came to rest. A mountain-sized artifact of infinite power that embodied the endless cycles of birth and death, destruction and creation. Desire to control its infinite power fueled the eternal conflict, until Inarius and Lilith stole it, and used it to create Sanctuary. The hour grows late, the fire is dying, and the cold is unrelenting. Come back if you're still alive, and I'll tell you the tale of our creation. Of our creators, Lilith and Inarius, mother and father of Sanctuary, and the long, bloody history of the eternal conflict. For now, we should rest. And I pray your dreams are not as dark as mine.
Okej. A nie mogą sobie, Lilith i Inarius nie mogą sobie dać buzi? Dzięki temu nie musi w ogóle Diablo 4 wychodzić? Chyba bardziej skomplikowane. Dobra, druga część.
And with ale this time. A wise
Tym razem z
choice
piwem, no
for
nie, z kawką.
dark story. The shadows will seem longer when it's done. Before we talked of Anu and Tathamet, the high heavens and the burning hells, and all who reside there, embroiled in the eternal conflict. Now let us speak of the creation of Sanctuary, and our creators, Inarius and Lilith, angel and demon, our father and mother. The eternal conflict raged on, endless and all-consuming. Led by the Angiras Council, the angelic forces fought countless battles against the armies of the seven demon lords, who sought to conquer all of creation. Though the high heavens often defeated their adversaries, they also failed to destroy them, allowing evil to return again and again and again, ceaseless, unrelenting. Both sides claimed victories, both suffered crippling defeats. The conflict was a never-ending slaughter. Many of these battles were fought in pandemonium, the plane said to be formed from the violent death of Anu and Tathamet, where the heart of creation lay, the mountain-sized artifact that would come to be known as the World Stone, housed within the Pandemonium Fortress. Any who control the World Stone would have the power to create new worlds or unmake them with a thought. A desirable and dangerous prize indeed. It became the focus of the eternal conflict. Over the eons, the Pandemonium Fortress changed hands many times. It became a strange place, embodying the warped reality of Pandemonium as a whole, a structural and liminal place, affected by the high heavens and burning hells alike. Angels and demons, too numerous to count, have fallen at its gates, over and over and over again. This endless cycle caused Inarius, advisor to the Angiras Council and under Tyrael's command, to eventually conclude that the war could never be won, and he resolved to abandon it. Elsewhere, Lilith, daughter of hatred, was arriving at a similar conclusion. On her father Mephisto's role in the eternal conflict, Lilith once wrote, "My father is content to fight the same battles and the same foes while everything turns to ashes. The war will never be won so long as he and his brothers lead. There is an end to it, but fools like my father are too blind to see it."
Cześć listopad.
Inarius and Lilith, angel and demon, separated by a vastness in distance and experience that is difficult to comprehend,
Czyli dalej
came
sobie
to the
buzi.
same conclusion. They must escape the eternal conflict. I wonder if the cosmos had ever
Cześć, czosnek.
contemplated such an unholy alliance and divine union. I wonder if creation
No tak, przecież by nas nie było, jakby sobie buzi nie dali. Nawet więcej.
shuddered in horror and awe, as Inarius and Lilith gathered others to their cause, fellow renegades seeking escape from the ceaseless fighting. The details of their meeting, like so much of our history, is obscured by the relentless passage of time and myth. But the great Herodric scholar Deckard Cain tells us of Inarius, wounded or marooned in the Pandemonium fortress, meeting with Lilith. Lilith was not spared the hatred of her father Mephisto, and from time immemorial had awaited an opportunity to rebel. For the first time, combatants in the eternal conflict not only set aside their differences, but also formed a union. It's difficult to imagine, but legends tell us that Inarius and Lilith forged an alliance that would alter the course of the war, reality itself, and all of existence. Inarius and Lilith pledged themselves to their joint cause of escaping the eternal conflict. United in purpose, both resourceful and wise in their way, they managed to gain control of the World Stone and hide it from the watchful eyes of the heavens and the hells. Working together, they shifted the World Stone into a pocket dimension, hiding it from the opposing powers of the eternal conflict. There, they used its extraordinary power to shape a new world, a refuge free from war, free from unending strife, a sanctuary. The renegade angels and demons came together to create new life, and the nature of the eternal conflict changed. The joining of the opposing natures within these firstborn made beings unlike any before. Beautiful abominations called Nephilim, from which humanity would one day descend as inheritors of both lineages. The birthrights of the firstborn graced them with the potential to resist the evil of the burning hells
Podoba mi się, to jest fajnie wytłumaczone właściwie od podstaw. Jak ktoś nie ma pojęcia, o co chodzi w Diablo, to wszystko zrozumie, nie?
and to defy the dominion of the high heavens. Because of this, many of the angels and demons who rebelled with Lilith and Inarius feared what these children might become. The burden of children can strain even the strongest of allies, and it seems that angels and demons are not immune to this simple truth. Surely Inarius and Lilith could not have foreseen the cosmic consequences of their actions. Inarius was alarmed when he realized that his children might surpass both angels and demons in potential. The other angels and demons fought fiercely over what should be done, whether to spare the Nephilim or exterminate them. The dissent between the two groups alarmed Inarius, who called for a period of reflection. Lilith, driven into a mad frenzy by the threat of her children's extinction, ruthlessly murdered each and every renegade angel and demon, leaving only Inarius to discover the carnage she had wrought. Horrified by the loss of his comrades at Lilith's hand, Inarius became enraged. But still he could not kill Lilith. Instead, he banished her from the sanctuary they had created together. Inarius then attuned the World Stone to diminish the powers of the Nephilim over time, and disappeared in the aftermath. As their strength faded generation by generation, they came to resemble mortals, no longer angelic or demonic, simply human. And as their power diminished,
Ciekawe, czy spotkamy jakichś takich nefalemów, którzy jeszcze mają moc z tych starych czasów i są po prostu koksami.
so too did their collective memory.
Jak ciekawe, jak mu się ją udało wygnać? No nie wiem, spakował jej torby, wyrzucił przez okno, no i ona musiała się wyprowadzić. Wydaje mi się, że tak klasycznie.
Only legends of what came before remained. It is said that the firstborn remained immortal and undying as humankind took shape, giving rise to the cultures, kingdoms, and tribes of Sanctuary, before themselves fading into myth. Now you know the birth of our world and our inheritance, demonic and divine, the eternal conflict that rages ceaselessly in each of us.
Właśnie myślałem o tym,
Think on
Kirax,
that, young
ale nie
scholar,
wiem.
until we meet again. None of us is above sin or immune to evil seduction.
Teoretycznie
Even the
tak,
most righteous may fall, given the right push in
ale
the
już
wrong
nasza
direction.
nie płynie w nas aż tak mocna ta krew Nefalemów, nie? Bo to już minęły pokolenia, z tego co zrozumiałem, tak? Kurde, fajne to, fajne wprowadzenie, naprawdę fajne wprowadzenie. A co ile to wychodzi, kiedy będzie następna część? Jest 2 dni temu, 4 dni temu? To możliwe, że dzisiaj wejdzie, nie? Albo jutro na przykład sobie obejrzymy dalszą część. A jeszcze bym, wiecie co? Diablo4.pl. Tak z ciekawości. Oj, przepraszam. O, patrzcie, tu było po polsku, nie? Ta część. Okej. To jeszcze gameplay launch trailer na deser. Minuta 43. Tego też nie widziałem jeszcze.
Your lives depend on what you do next. Choose wisely.
You should see me in the crowd. I'm gonna win, there's nothing to help. Watch me make them bow. One by one, one by one. Count my cards, watch them fall. Blood on a marble.
Patrzcie. Item shop, skórki.
Count my cards, watch them fall.
No i dobrze, niech pokaże.
On a marble wall. I like the way they all scream. There's nothing to help. Watch me make them bow. One by one, one by. You should see me in the crowd.
Mi się wydaje, Squeacho, czy Squeacho, nie wiem jak przeczytać twój nick, możesz mi napisać, że to jest, wiesz, bo masz tutaj i filmiki takie pod klimat, mroczne, tak? No ale takie gameplaye raczej, żeby trafiły do jakiejś większej publiczności, no to wydaje mi się, że spoko właśnie puścić jakąś, bo co to jest za muzyka? To jest jakaś Billie Eilish, czy co to jest? Billie Eilish to jest, no. Ach jest, The Musical Stylings of Billie Eilish. Kurde, no, wszystko się spina tutaj. Billie Eilish, no tak.
Your silence is my favorite sound. Watch me make a bow. One by one. I don't dream. You should see me in the crowd.
Mi się podoba. Mi się podoba, tylko wiecie co? Tak trochę... Oj, Ultimate Edition. Już chyba każdy kupił Deluxa, to teraz Ultimate'a reklamują. Tylko wiecie co? Tak chyba pół na pół jest. Dosłownie, jeśli chodzi o takie fragmenty z rozgrywki, to połowę już znamy, połowę już widzieliśmy, tak mi się wydaje. Tutaj jest coś chyba nowego, nie? Tutaj jakieś nowe mopki są. To wszystko znamy. To też znamy. Szczerze, to jakbym robił taki trailer już blisko premiery, to chyba bym wszystko wdupcył z, wiecie, z innych regionów. To jest też być może jakiś inny region. To znamy. To znamy te mopki. No. Ja bym szczerze mówiąc, to chyba były jakieś nowe, nie? Te węże to też znamy. No i tutaj te konstrukty. No chyba, że nie ma tego już dużo więcej, nie? No to inna sprawa. Ale no, spoko. Ale wprowadzenia fabularne mi się bardziej podobały. Wprowadzenia fabularne super, no. Z chęcią oglądam trzecią część, przyznam szczerze. Bo dla takiego nubka diablowego jak ja, elegancka sprawa jest.